All right, folks, got some breaking news today to cover after basically about 6, 8 months of waiting. We finally have some news on Aaron Brooks and what his suspension situation is looking like after his failed drug test from last year. Now, if you don't remember, it was announced sometime, I believe, in June or July last year that Aaron Brooks would be receiving or would be testing positive, would be failing a drug test performed by USADA. And then there were some rumors regarding what the agent was or the anabolic agent that he was testing positive for. And so now we have more information. We know how long he's going to be suspended for. I believe we also know what the tested positive substance was and what this really means. So let's get into that. Basically, USADA, which is the U.S. Anti-Doping Agency, the agency that makes sure that the U.S. athletes are in compliance with drug testing standards, with doping standards across the board. He received a 2-year suspension, Aaron Brooks did, for testing positive for an anabolic agent during an out-of-competition drug test on April 21st, 2025. So that anabolic agent was believed to be, it is quoted as an anabolic agent of exogenous origin, which in this case was DHEA. I believe the story is that he went to a Wegmans after having double pneumonia, got some supplements that he thought were going to help him, one of them being DHEA, which I believe is questionable, but who knows. Either way, he took it, got tested, and tested positive. The independent arbiter heard cases from both Brooks and his representatives and USADA to determine if Brooks had met his burden of establishing that his violations were unintentional, and if so, whether he can establish no significant fault or negligence. This comes into play because what USADA was looking for was a 4-year ban, which would have put Aaron Brooks out until 2029, post the Olympics, right? But because the arbiter determined that Brooks's violation was unintentional, the period of ineligibility was set at 2 years. So the suspension began on June 13th of 2025, and so his period of ineligibility will expire on June 12th of 2027. So that basically means that he is going to miss any of the world team trial process for this year, for 2026, and all of the world team trial processes for 2027. Because his suspension expires on June 12th, 2027. So he'll miss the U.S. Open, he'll miss World Team Trials, he'll miss all of that. And so, yeah, I guess the soonest we're going to see him is going to be for that Olympic year, which would be like Senior Nationals in December of 2027. Maybe Last Chance Trials, maybe some international events, because the ranking series will be more impactful for that time of the year. But, this is I think, important to at least address, with the idea in mind that this is a guy who could definitely win world medals at the very least. He was an Olympic silver medalist for us at the 2024 Olympics out in Paris, and he's working his way up to 97 kilograms. So really, while he's not wrestling, while he's not competing, this is the time for him to work his way up from 86 kilograms where he was up to 97 kilograms. Which is going to be a bit of a jump for him. But in the meantime, we have great options as the country stands. We won 86, 92, and 97, all three weights that he could possibly represent. We won them last year. We look to be in pretty good position to do well on them again this year, especially 92 and 97 kilograms. So, it sucks to see somebody of his caliber not able to compete. Like I said, he's an Olympic bronze medalist. I think he said he was a silver. He's an Olympic bronze medalist. And he was a 4-time NCAA champion, age group world champ as well. So he's very talented. It sucks that this happened, but, at least the right things are being taken care of, in my mind. So moving forward, we won't see him until 2027. I'm assuming at that point he'll be all the way up at 97 kilograms. So we could see him at the senior national tournament in December of 2027, wrestling 97 kilograms. I don't even know who'll be in that weight at that point. I'm guessing Kyle Snyder, but Kyle Snyder will probably also medal, and so he'll be sitting in the Olympic trials semis, I believe, is the way it works. So that's how things stand currently. Not an ideal look for Brooks or the Nittany Lion Wrestling Club, but I'm guessing based on the way the arbiter understood all the materials, a 2-year ban, while it sucks, is way better than a 4-year ban. So there was at least some fault not to be put on Brooks' part. Now, you can kind of gauge from your own understanding of the situation whether or not this was since it was it's technically his second failed drug test, because he also failed for ADHD medication that he then provided the proper paperwork for, and so kind of a half failed test and then a fully failed test with extenuating circumstances. Either way, that's basically the deal here. So let me know what you think.